A reading from a memorial book, Moore, Oklahoma, May 20th, 2013. The Devastation and Rebirth of a Community. On May 20th, the day after the Little Axe tornado, the EF5 tornado, the largest on record, formed south of Canadian River, tracked north. West of Interstate 44, before making a right turn, it headed east through a densely populated area of South Oklahoma City and more. It would traverse nearly 17 miles at 1.3 miles wide before dissipating near Lake Stanley Draper on the county's northeast edge. It destroyed hundreds and hundreds of homes and businesses. It leveled the Moore Medical Center, and then took a turn, avoiding a direct hit on Warren Theater. Moore City Manager Steve Eddy was huddled in his city's emergency operations center as the tornado bore down on his city. "You can't print my thoughts," Eddy said later. "I thought about how it's going to change people's lives and what they would do. I thought, why do we have to go through this again?" On 49th Street, Anita Acosta could see the debris cloud forming. She said it started getting black. You could just see it all coming, like a big old thundering train coming, and I thought, oh my God, I've got to shut the door. All of a sudden, it was like a roaring thunder. You could hear something break, and it was just shaking. I was sitting on the floor, and the whole house was shifting. I was like, oh my God, I'm going. This is it. Was like, okay, this is it. This is it. This is my life. Nearby, the Plaza Tower School was preparing to release students for the day. The last Monday of the school year, Scott Lewis saw the forecast and decided to pick up his son Zach early. "I just thank the Lord that I was able to get him and that he wasn't trapped in there or worse." In the rubble, police and sheriff deputies found the bodies of 7 children. Zach Lewis's third-grade classmate. In all, 24 persons would perish that afternoon. Teacher's assistant Kelly Law said children took cover inside the main hallways and bathrooms. It sounded like somebody was going through with a mower and hitting a tin roof. I had my eyes shut. All of the teachers were covering as many heads as they could. At Briarwood Elementary, a mile down the road, also in the storm's path, students would take shelter in designated areas. Some held books over their head to shield themselves from flying debris. Principal Shelley McMillan said a lot of prayers were heard. "We prayed a lot," she said. McMillan said she could hear grinding noises. Walls had been torn apart. She looked up and the ceiling was gone. She could see the debris spinning in the tornado. It looked like it was in slow motion. The tornado passed. McMillan's immediate thoughts were on the children's safety. "I yelled as loud as I could. I have second graders trapped." First grade teacher Lisa Niffen had no indication how big or how bad the tornado would be. "It was unbelievable," she said. "We could hear it. I could hear that whooshing sound. I lived in Oklahoma all my life and never experienced anything like that." Then we started hearing things hit. Then the children started screaming and crying. That was the absolute worst. Trying to tell them it was going to be okay and really not knowing if we're going to be okay. You felt like you were being sucked up. Things kept falling. Kids kept screaming. I just kept praying, "God, let it pass, let it pass." All the Briarwood students and teachers would get out alive. When the tornado moved east and dissipated over Lake Stanley Draper, volunteers began arriving, some walking miles to get there around demolished cars and down power lines. Before nightfall, hundreds of volunteers began flooding into Moore in South Oklahoma City. Churches and the University of Oklahoma opened their doors for shelters. Truckloads of food, water, gloves, diapers, and dog food were packed and shipped to shelters and command posts. The first supplies arrived at Journey Church in Norman within 20 minutes. First responders expected to find many bodies among the rubble. An error in counting multiplied the death estimates to 51, then 91 by midnight. By morning, most of the missing had been found alive. Roads near the damaged school, hospital, and theaters were lined with National Guard vehicles, television satellite trucks, police cars, and worried residents. Volunteers were turned away and sent to shelters instead. Volunteers of all ages were helping, including an army of youngsters armed with gloves, rakes, and shovels made their way to the city's damaged cemetery. As days passed, country music star Blake Shelton and his wife Miranda Lambert came from southern Oklahoma to help. They organized a benefit concert inside Chesapeake Arena that raised an estimated $6 million for relief. A concert organized by Moore native Toby Keith weeks later raised nearly $2 million. On Memorial Day weekend, the president toured the Moore destruction area, including what was left of Plaza Towers. At the school, the president hugged Principal Amy Simpson. He said, "Obviously, the damage here is pretty hard to comprehend. Our hearts go out to the families who have been impacted, including those who had loved ones who were lost." That was true for the parents of the 7 children here at Plaza Towers Elementary School. At Fire Station Number 1, the president thanked emergency workers, many of them still working at cafeteria tables in the station's empty bays. He said, "We could not be prouder of you. We know Moore is going to come back strong from this tragedy." This is a strong community with strong character. It's going to take a long time, is what they said, to rebuild. We know Moore is going to come back strong from this tragedy, and we did, and we continue to.
Oh my God. This is unbelievable. Oh my God.
My stuff and stuff might fall in the vehicle. Oh my God, it's an F5. Can we go forward a little bit, maybe? Not yet?
Not yet, no.
Are we okay right here?
We're fine.
I just need you to keep saying that.
We're
I know
fine
we are,
right
but
here.
I just need to say it.
We're totally fine.
I know we are. We're getting hit by debris.
I've never
You see
seen a
that
tornado
spinning
this
so
violent.
hard?
We gotta go.
You see it spinning so hard at the surface?
Yes. I've never seen a tornado this violent in my entire
I
life.
haven't, I mean, obviously
This is the most violent tornado I've ever seen by far.
There's debris falling from behind us.
I know. It's just getting spun around the back of the circulation. This is like worse than Joplin.
I know it is.
Can you see that still?
Yes, I have it.
Look, there's...
Please be careful.
I hear you.
There's a stop sign up here.
You're gonna get to see it really
I
well
know,
through here.
I know. It's so big I can't fit the whole thing in my viewfinder. There's debris everywhere. What are we gonna do? Do not go north.
Straight.
Do not go north.
We're going to go straight. I cannot believe the sound.
Dave,
The sound of this thing.
This should not have been happening. This shouldn't have happened.